Wait, Captain Kaya! Surely I can't just...
These two are here on Jean's order. She asked them to investigate Albedo's office.
In that case, head on in.
That was so easy? That's all I have to say?
So this is Albedo's office. Pretty much exactly how Paimon pictured it.
I'm so tired. Alright, I have some work of my own, so I'll leave you to it. Good luck, you two.
Gotcha.
Okay. What am I investigating? Oh, I wanted to read. Oh, wait. To interact with. Investigate, okay.
Alright, let's see what we can find.
There's a stack of books on our desk, mostly relating to alchemy, environmental science, and life science. Some of the pages have been marked with alchemical symbols, and others have an S-shaped or triangular symbols drawn on them, and the potential meaning is unclear.
Wow, these books are so fancy! Albedo must have gone to great lengths to get them.
Okay. A logbox sits on a desk. The latch bears signs of wearer, suggesting the importance of whatever lies within. The box likely remained locked most of the time. Now the lid remains wide open, as if the owner was forced to leave in a hurry and didn't have time to lock it. Perhaps the letter intercepted by the investigators was once sorted here. The remaining contents shouldn't hold much weight as a conclusive evidence, but you still get a strange feeling after reviewing them. In elegant penmanship, the letter reads, "In addition, I do happen to have some information on the subject of our last discussion. The materials and arcane formation required for human transmutation. The formation in these records likely originate from the Khanria art of Khemia, but relevant documentation has not been well maintained over time, so I cannot guarantee there are no errors or omissions. As thanks for your past assistance, I've enclosed the records of this letter. But it does not mean I support your pursuit of this research. Ethics aside, I'm not convinced it's even possible to create a human whose existence is identical to our own. The idea that the dynamic of creator and creation could exist within the same species is cause for concern. Even for talent like yours, I must urge you to proceed with caution. The signature belongs to an unfamiliar name, one that also appears on an alchemy book nearby. You skim the preface and learn that the author is an old and accomplished alchemist. The person is likely a friend from Albedo's academic circle, someone who owed Albedo a favor, but also urged him to refrain from conducting dangerous research."
Transmutation? Is Albedo seriously looking into that?
Thank you for the help, Butts.
Ooh. Paimon doesn't
Did I
wanna
get
think
that
about
because I read that really well? Without flipping up? It doesn't look good, but this letter can't directly prove that Albedo did anything. Besides, a technique like that must be too dangerous to share with the public, right? That's why it wasn't brought up during the trial. There's a test tube on the shelf with some black powder residue at the bottom. That's orange, my boy. Next to it lies a neatly written note. Chalk's the next stage of soil, but the current available materials are still insufficient to construct a stable structure.
No idea what that means. Not sure if it's too hard for Paimon or too hard for anyone outside this line of work.
I think it's the first. Albedo's notes lie on the table. They resemble the ones you've been seen before, but the contents are different this time. As always, the penmanship is impeccable, careful and neat with a certain elegance to its uniformity. Much like the man himself, one of the notes reads, "Putrefaction should be regarded as a counter-simulation to the process of life, like a highly efficient and destructive spell of rot. Upon use, the target will decay within an extremely short period of time, turning into dust that is nearly invisible to the naked eye before dissipating into the air." But if that's the case, why would he need to bury them? Like, that just screams that he wanted to be found out. After moving the book, the desk looks almost empty. Your hand slipped while moving the book, causing the hardcore book to stride the desk. The resulting noise is a bit unusual. It's subtle, but to experienced adventurer, it sounds too hollow. Almost like there's a compartment within the desk.
Wait, it looks like there's a hidden compartment under the desk.
There does appear to be a compartment added to one side of the desk. It was very well hidden. The lock mechanism is complex and seems to involve elemental power in some way. Perhaps you could try using the power of Geo? The hidden compartment opens. Inside lies a piece of paper with more information. I would have rioted if they would be like, oh, you need to have like the Geo main character. Festering is also a manifestation of wrath. When festering forces and sufficient amount of life energy collide, the two will repel each other, triggering a powerful side effect. When I tested this in an alchemical experiment, the results of the refinement were startling. Breaking through the shackles of life, the simulation of the project. I must take advantage of this opportunity.
The name of the project is blotted out in ink. What could it
So
be?
we couldn't go up before. I wasn't sure anymore. The note mentioned festering forces, which suggests that Dragonspine could be involved somehow. If this has something to do with creating synthetic life, would Albedo go that far for one of his experiments? No, that can't be. Amid the notes is a map with a few markings on it. 2 of the marked locations correspond to the crime scenes, and the third appears to be in Dragonspine. Do I have to remember these? It's a hard pill to swallow, but if the results of the joint investigation are correct, there could be a body hidden in that last location, or at the very least, what remains of one.
What does this mean? Oh, do you think something might also be buried at the last location? Alright, that seems to be it for this place. We should go tell Jean what we found.
Why are we better at this than the actual Knights of Favonius, huh?
Oh, Vent is calling. Let's answer.
So are Yui. I can't accept you right now. I'm in the middle of a main quest. How's the investigation going? Find anything?
Oh, we found stuff, alright. Stuff that only makes Albedo look even more suspicious.
I see. So Albedo's researching something that doesn't help his case, huh? You share what you learn with Venti. In front of! Oh no, I'm still upstairs. Never mind. Not promising. We should be grateful Albedo's true identity remains hidden. If it gets out that he's one of Rindottir's creations, there'd be no separating him from her past. As we both know, Rindottir approach the alchemy and ethics was pure madness, and the evidence you just found, let's just say it could convince even those closest to him of his guilt. Perhaps even you. I don't think the handwriting was faked. When it comes down to trust, do you trust Albedo? I absolutely do.
Yeah, he's our friend. We should keep the faith. And if he really is the culprit, he must have had a reason.
Yeah, I would like to talk to him.
Maybe he's just not allowed to talk about it. Yeah, that must be it.
Either way, fair investigation means coming to a conclusion presented by the facts. Does that mean even Venti no longer believes in him? Remaining objective has its own value. Remember, none of this is your fault. Just report back with an honest assessment of the facts.
Well, let's go find Jean and tell her what we learned. Wait, that's
Why,
Miles. What's he doing here?
buddy?
Oh, sorry. I heard voices and wasn't sure if I should check who was inside.
So you eavesdropped instead?
It's okay. We're here on Jean's orders.
Ah, I see. I'll, leave you to it then.
Mm-hmm, buddy, you better.
Hold on. You didn't hear what we were saying, did you?
Oh, he absolutely did.
Not really. Nothing that made sense anyway.
Well, do us a favor and just forget anything you might have heard, okay?
Oh,
That is
sure.
very suspicious, girl.
That map we found in the hidden compartment seems important. We should check out the marked location.
Anything else here? I thought I have to go and talk to Jean first. Am I not talking to Jean now? I'm so lost. Oh god, we gotta go back to Dragonspine. I hate it here. Okay, it's going to be fine. Where is it though? Can I double check that thing again? Where is it? On the very outer skirts of it. Over here? There.
We should be getting close.
Although everything is covered in snow, as a seasoned adventurer, you notice a spot on the ground that looks quite different from its surroundings. Remove the snow and find a sizable hole underneath, large enough to fit a human body. But the hole is completely empty, and the surrounding markings make it look like something was dug up. Did an animal do this, or some monster?
Weird. There's a hole, but no body. The prosecution's argument is that Albedo used alchemy to destroy the bodies. But this location is different from the other two. Why not fill the hole? Or smooth out the ground like the other places?
If one person did all this, why not remove the traces like the others? And if Albedo isn't the one responsible, why was this location marked in his notes? Return to the Knights of Favonius, doubt swirling. I'm not doubting him. I am not. You're back. Did you find anything? Kinda.
Yeah, but none of it helps Albedo's case.
You tell Gina about your findings from Albedo's office. I see. A complicated result, but your efforts are appreciated. Did Albedo submit an appeal? Yes, he asked for a retrial. There are still questions surrounding the identities of the victims and the disappearance of the bodies. The minimal remains that were uncovered have been sent for forensic analysis, which should provide some answers. It's just...
What's wrong?
If the victims turn out to be Monsha citizens, the situation becomes all the more serious. The second trial would likely have to be open to the public. And that public sentiment will be in Albedo's favor.
Not when the charges are so serious.
The second trial is set to take place in 2 days. In 2 days?! If you consider... Oh, gosh.
Of course, we'll be there. In the meantime, we should all just stay positive.
I don't think that staying positive is gonna do us anything, Paimon. We need to find some evidence. Well said. When the time comes, I carry out my duty to the best of my ability. That's it? That was our investigation? What is wrong with Miles? Also, why is everyone constantly talking with their doors open? I'll tell you, Miles. Miles is the culprit. I don't trust this man. Let me get some pulls in. Let's go. 2 days. 2 days. We gotta wait now. Because this is still something that Genshin didn't fix. So, it's 2 days later.
We
Crimes.
should meet up with
Talk to
Jean.
Jean.
It's about time for the second trial.
Hi, Jean. You haven't moved a single inch, huh? You too. Let me know if you're ready and we'll head out. Okay. Did we not investigate further? Are we not his friends? I'm so mad. Ladies and gentlemen, we now convene for the second trial against Mr. Albedo. I, Jean Gunhill, will once again oversee the proceedings. Representatives on both sides remain unchanged, and Mr. Dahlia will continue to serve as assessor. Ms. Herda represents the prosecution, and Mr. Kaya speaks on behalf of the defense. The defendant in this case is Mr. Albedo, captain of the investigation team. With that, I now bring this trial to order. Ms. Herda, have the investigators made any new discoveries?
Yes. We sent the teeth and the femur bone found at the scene to the church's medical office.
Yeah.
And were able to conclude that these are, in fact, human remains. In addition, the investigators were able to identify several Mondstadt citizens who appear to have been missing for quite some time.
Oh.
Forensic analysis of the remains allowed us to pinpoint the age and gender of the deceased. Interestingly, one of the missing individuals matches that profile to a T.
Okay, this
The
is starting to
medical
look
office
bad.
couldn't spare the personnel, so Miss Rosaria is here to present the results to the court.
Hanselman, male. Hanselman? Really? That's the name? God. Sorry. 46 years old, marital status, single, occupation, hunter, consistent with the conclusion in the last trial. His disappearance went unreported, likely due to his lack of relatives. In addition, medical records show that the sustained a mechanism-related injury to his leg 3 years ago. A damage on the femur bone Mr. Dillock found is consistent with such an injury. Therefore, we can conclude that one of the victims in this case is Hanselman. A specialized technique was likely used to accelerate the rate of decomposition.
Is it reasonable to assume this technique to be alchemical in nature?
A chemical or magical, both are possible.
Thank you for your testimony.
The identity of one of the victims is now confirmed. But what about the defendant's motive?
Considering what he wrote in the letter, we can deduce that the defendant needed subjects for an alchemy experiment. Who better than individuals whose disappearance would go unnoticed? In other words, he sacrificed the good people of Mondstadt for his own gain. A truly
You come into your
violent
conclusions really
act.
fast, woman.
In addition, another witness has agreed to testify. Miss Donna, if you would.
Another one, huh?
Wait, Donna from the flower shop?
I'm sorry it took so long for me to come forward. But the night Master Diluc saw Mr. Albedo, I was there too.
Okay.
I was camping with a friend and we decided to stop near Dragonspine. I couldn't really get comfortable that night, so around dawn, I decided to go for a walk. And that's when I saw Master Diluc. I thought it might be nice to, chat. So I headed in his direction and then I saw it. Someone at the bottom of the cliff was getting rid of a body. I was terrified the person might see me. Even after I fled, I couldn't shake that fear. And I started to wish I never had a crush on Master Diluc in the first place. If I hadn't wanted to talk to him, I would never have been in that situation. Well, I didn't want to come forward because I was scared. But Miss Hertha convinced me it was the right thing to do. I'm sorry it took me so long.
I see. Stepping forward was brave enough. Oh my god, don't, Dillock, don't. The court thanks you for your courage and commitment to justice.
Yes. Thank you.
The two witnesses corroborate the same sequence of events. That just leaves the question of how the defendant disposed of the bodies.
I believe the answer lies in the alchemical technique mentioned in the letter. The defendant is the most accomplished alchemist in Mondstadt. He has the skill, no question.
Special investigator also uncovered some relevant evidence on that subject that were not presented to the court.
Did she mean...
Yep. The evidence we found in Albedo's office. The following are piece of evidence uncovered in Mr. Albedo's office, the most important of which is this map. This map was found with the defendant's notes. The markings correspond with the description in the letter and the location of the crime scenes. Does this map belong to you? Yes. Were you the one who marked these locations? Yes. You do realize that's basically... No, it's not! He just marked some places! Somebody else did the dirty deed! The evidence against you is nearly insurmountable. No. Since you uncovered that compartment, I might as well expound on the matter.
We have witnesses and physical evidence. What could you possibly say in your defense?
But I always have. I never killed a single person.
You have some nerve. Saying that when the evidence is stacked against you?
Ms. Herda, you presented a meticulously and convincing case, I'll give you that, but I will not admit to something I didn't do.
So, what? You're just going to bombard the court with excuses?
It's sort of dismissive way to refer to an innocent man speaking on his own defenses. Besides, I'm not making excuses, I'm exercising patience.
That won't make the charges against you disappear, Mr. Albedo.
Perhaps not, but patience comes with its own reward. It's easy for things to remain buried in snow until someone comes along and brushes it away. Albedo seems serious, but unfazed. Does that mean he really didn't do anything towards? He mentioned brushing off the snow. Is that supposed to be— Yeah! Yeah, the hole! It was a hint, and it must have something to do with Dragonspine. Which reminds me, one of the locations marked on the map we found was in Dragonspine, wasn't it? Traveler, you were the one who uncovered the notes, right? Then I'm assuming you visited the third location marked on the map as well. Yeah. Can you tell us what you found? Nothing. You nod your head and give an honest account of the scenes you found on Dragonspine. Whatever was kept in the hole was gone, and the surrounding area bore the markings of an unknown creature. The thing is, like, we have a trial here. We presented some evidence to the people, and they decided, they had like 2 days. And not a single one of them decided to maybe send someone to that location to like check the surroundings. They apparently didn't know that we went. This is a farce. This whole ass trial is a farce. If everything covered in snow, no one knew there was something to discover in the first place.
There must also have been a body.
I had to think about this. What clues am I missing? Oh, I hated this. The first mark location, the third. Mark location is in Dragon's. I only know about it because we found a map. During the investigation, when I discovered a hole beneath the snow big enough for a human body, but there was no body or remains whatsoever. I'm gonna mark the 3 locations. The difference between all marked locations. Based on what we know, all 3 locations were likely used to be hiding bodies. Unlike the first 2 locations, there were claw marks around the hole in the 3rd location. But why wasn't the curse in another location? Blah, 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 blah. We don't care. As Frigate Climate, deep within Duran, Aldo the Dragon, yada, yada, yada. This one Albedo is an alchemist, captain of the investigating team. Still much in full again. No people who agree with the assessment. I would likely be well concealed. Blah, 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 blah. I'm his friend. I better do something. I almost forgot who looked exactly like Albedo. Yeah, we know. There you go. The fucking clone. I'm guessing Albedo has a plan, so I should help him out. But what does he want me to do? Announce a break in the case? No, I should play it safe. Since I made an honest assessment of the facts, I should be honest about my doubts too. It's only fair. Besides, I think I understand what Albedo was trying to tell me just now. I'd like to address the court, if I may. I was the one who investigated the office, and I believe the results raise a few questions. Regarding the 2 cases addressed in the previous trial, it was established that, after disposing of the bodies, the defendant used alchemy to restore the ground to its original state. But that wasn't the case at the 3rd location. The hole was still there, with dirt scattered around the perimeter. It looked more like something had been dug up. If this was all done by one person, why wasn't the 3rd scene given the same treatment as the others? Why weren't the traces removed? In addition, the marking around the 3rd location weren't fresh, which suggests that the Dragonspine incidents happened at a different time. For those reasons, I believe there is still reasonable doubt in this case, and I doubt the verdict reflects that. Thank you. Astute as ever.
Questions there may be, but allow me to point out, there is no evidence to suggest that anyone besides the defendant knew about the 3rd location. And the map was found in his notes. That fact alone makes him the most plausible suspect. Unless Mr. Albedo suddenly plans to deny that the map belongs to him.
He didn't deny that. Allow me to respond to Traveler's point. If all I cared about was proving my innocence, I would indeed do as you described, Miss Hertha, and deny any connection to that map. But that is not what I intended to do. The map does belong to me, and I did hide things those 3 locations. What? Things! Not humans! Things! There were indeed bodies at each location, and I did kill and bury someone on Dragonspine.
So you admit it. Let the record reflect.
Oh my god,
defendant
let
has
him
confessed to his
speak!
crimes.
You're mistaken, Miss Hertha. The story doesn't end there. Some time ago, I encountered an uninvited guest on Dragonspine, someone who wanted to take advantage of the deserted nature of the region and eliminate me in secret. His desire to kill me led to an altercation where I killed him instead and buried the body on the mountain, the 3rd location marked on the map.
Actually, the traveler Amber Bennett and I were with Albedo that day. The Adventurers Guild was holding an event on Dragonspine. After it ended, we all left the area. If the person Albedo is referring to is different from the one we encountered on the mountain, then the altercation must have occurred after we left.
This only proves that the defendant is guilty on all counts.
It
Those
doesn't.
innocent people. Their blood is on your hands.
No, you're
You
wrong.
deny it? After admitting to murder for the whole court to hear? You've clearly lost your mind.
If you would let me finish. Yeah, if you would just let him finish talking, woman, please. I could get to the important part. The man who attacked me on Dragonspine was my height, with blonde hair and blue eyes, dressed in clothes nearly identical to mine. So, someone who happens to look exactly like you? Exactly like him. So I was right. It does come back to what happened
It's
back
one
then.
thing to look similar, but for the clothes to be the same?
You could literally just buy the same set of clothing. That's the part you're hung up on?
What's going on? I don't want to be here anymore.
Regardless, the important thing is that you admit to killing someone on Dragonspine.
Yes, I killed someone that day. Someone who looked nearly identical to me. But I never said that someone was a person. I see. Then it appears I need to withdraw my testimony.
What?
They looks like, okay, I'm done.
Everyone, I brought her.
Wait,
whom's?
you...
The person who just came in, isn't that Hertha?
What's going on?
Who are you? Why do you wear my face?
Hello to you too.
A calmer looking Herda, huh? As you can see, this is Herda, the logistic captain of the Knights of
I
Avonius.
see what's going on here. It's all been leading up to this, hasn't it? Your confession. It was all an elaborate stunt to set me up.
What?
You want to undermine my credibility? Fine. It doesn't eliminate the mountain of evidence stacked against you. All I want is justice for the people of Mondstadt.
He's trying to tell you, you dumb wit, that there might be a clone out there. Order in the court. I've been stationed on Dragonspine all these years because that is where the subject of my research lies, the dragon, Duran. Several hundred years ago, the Dragon of the East, Dwalin, defeated Duran in a battle and, with help from Barbados, sealed his remain on Dragonspine. Duran was created through alchemy, one of the finest specimens of artificial life. As such, death was not a true end for him. His heart still beats and grows more revitalized by the day. My impostor on Dragonspine was a failed specimen abandoned in Duran's stomach, an unsuccessful iteration of the Homunculus project.
Homunculus?
Are you trying to insinuate that I'm some kind of homunculus? Because it looks to me like the artificial one is standing right there. Some kind of imposter you dragged in from Dragonspine. So this is what I look like when I fly off the handle. You know, they say imitation is the best form of flattery, but your impersonation has overstayed its welcome. Master Jean, what are you waiting for? We've known each other for so long. You recognize the real me, don't you?
Two of you look identical, but judging based on demeanor, the new arrival actually seems more like the her that I know.
Nothing. By that logic, I could just as easily accuse the Albedo in this room of being an imposter.
I mean, yeah, you could.
How do we know he isn't the fake one? A cold-blooded killer who replaced the real Albedo long ago. Then, how about something only the real Hertha would know? The longest scar on my body. The knights who fought alongside me that day should remember where it is.
I remember. Let's hear your answer.
I'd like to hear Miles' answer first.
Miles?
Huh?
Is he replaced too? He was acting so sus.
You don't know? Or you don't remember? I heard you've been acting strange these days. Disoriented? Confused? You were closer to me than anyone during that battle. And yet you don't remember a thing. Strange indeed.
Strange.
No, my head. It hurts.
The scar is right here.
By the nerves, I can't imagine this comes as a surprise. Unless the information in the Knights of Avonius failed to mention the scar on Herda's left arm.
Albedo has done a lot of research into beings like you. If you deny it, then show us your arm.
He just killed some weird homunculi, didn't he? No need to panic. You can't just edit now. You excel at changing your appearance, don't you? Or should I say, all spawns of Durin's life force have stat stability? A powerful life force, an appearance you can change at will, yet here you stand, formless one, paralyzed to act, because your word using that power could affect your accomplices. Accomplices? Then Miles must be one of them. There are others too. Most of the beings under the influence of Durin's life forces have gathered here, and yet their presence is what impedes her from taking action. Once you attempt to transform, all who surround you will be affected by your power. You can't control it, because in this network of living beings, you serve as the core.
Show us your arm. Ugh! Have it your way!
Whoa!
Come on, let's go.
Okay, chill. He looks very unimpressed.
Hey, they're shielding the imposter!
He's trying to get away. Stop her! Don't let anyone stand in your way!
She's trying to get in. Must be more people under her control.
Time to get moving, everyone.
Whoa! She just leaped across the room!
After her!
It's time. Our units move out. Third company, keep on the imposter's tail. I only have a chance to talk, but before I explain the events of the past few days, I'd like to make a few things clear. First, I never killed any of my fellow citizens, and I never used human remains as part of an alchemical experiment. Second, the events of the past few days were all part of a plan. Most of the members of our order were in on it. As for the witness, Master Diluc picked up on a situation long before today's proceedings. It's quite an involved plan. Indeed, follow me. Why are there monsters in Mondstadt?
How are there monsters in the city?
They are all monsters from Dragonspine. An attack is imminent, but fear not. We've been preparing for this. We've been monitoring the resurgence of Durin's life force. Its festering nature agitated these monsters. We knew it was only a matter of time before they advanced on Mondstadt. And so we made preparations for an inevitable battle. I was hoping you two could join me and provide assistance in the battle to come.
Where's our first stop?
You could have just told me from the beginning, though. At top of the city hall. Where am I going? Does it matter? Does it matter where I'm going? Probably not. Hopefully not. Let me through, let me through, let me through. Yep. Where are we going? Am I going down?
Okay.
Damn.